The reality of our country is that there are real problems that people are facing. Nobody is coming up and saying, this is the solution you're going to provide, because the reality, let me tell you, Sam, is that whoever is going to be the next president, and I know for a fact where I sit that it will not be Ruto, for sure, because, even as he's saying that they must win, that by God's grace, I don't know by what, it's the same thing that they were saying about Kalau. That's now my county. Same thing they were saying, but the people are telling them, in reality, you're not going to get that win. So it's the same thing that people are saying on ground. Not because I'm saying it, but because of the reality of the problem that people are facing. Everybody is feeling it. I'm sure even her and him, all of us are feeling it. If we are to be truthful about it, we're all feeling the negative impact that has been, we've been taken through by this government. No, the person who becomes the next president will face a scenario whereby you have, when you look at the expenditure side of it, vis-a-vis the revenue side of it, you have to, balancing the books will be a nightmare. That is problem number one. You have a burgeoning population that needs jobs, like yesterday. You have people who are food insecure. You have infrastructure that you cannot maintain. You have farmers who don't have markets. You have this insecurity. You have all these competing interests. So what do you do with it? Because the reality that if we do not have a president who has a clear vision, who has the ability to constitute a competent team, who has the ability to, and who has knowledge and experience of running institutions, making sure that everybody is held to account, and you are very clear about what you need to accomplish in reality within a very short time, including mass public transport system, you will have Gen Zs and people in the streets in no time. That is the hard reality. And those are the conversations that we need to start having, not about sharing the spoils, because you are sharing the spoils as positions for yourselves. If you look at the large government, the excess fat within government, and even the president himself kept talking about how he's going to eliminate this waste, and all that. He didn't do it, because once he is in government, he becomes part and parcel of them. Of course, he was part of them even before. The reality that nobody wants to address that, they're just addressing about positions and about sharing the spoils, not about making impact on people's lives. And people want a clear vision, and also backed by a team that has knowledge and experience on how to implement it. I'll take a quick. You see what these people do? They throw in so much information
to confuse
everybody, so that everybody can lose focus on the real issues. And I think it's what they've been trained by those who
they throw in so much confusion.
After Naivasha, they were told to come and
allow him. Like she say that the tea prices have gone up. Yet around there was this increase of 2.28 shillings levy on a tea export. Now, that in itself, sometimes towards the end of June, I think, the tea auction that was held in Mombasa, and again, this is fact, you're telling me that I'm not a facts person. Again, you can
clearly,
which brought the price of where the tea in the tea auction, for the first time, you had 1,600 tons of Kenyan tea that was left without having purchasers for it. Why? Because of that distortion in terms of the prices that was brought by this levy. Where now buyers are being directed to Rwanda, Uganda, and the Tanzania tea. That is factual. You can't say that it is Macharia Njeru who is creating it. Now he's talking about treasury. He comes here and there's all this very big word that he's talking about how Bandi has been able to save interest rate in treasury. Yet if you read the information now, when they came to the sale of shares by Safaricom, they were given technical advice by Kipra, which is a government think tank, and told the sale of shares should be at the range of about 36 shillings per share. They ignored that advice, sold it about 34, and lost 14 billion shillings. You're talking about saving here on interest. You're losing money here, which could have easily been able to get, that could have helped you to run the government. Then you end up losing it. Look at corruption index.
Those were commissions.
Look at corruption index again. Again by EACC, not by Macharia Njeru. They say that the cost by a young person to get a job, the money that they were paying for you to get a job, before these people took over power, it was about 24,000 shillings. Not that it is right, but EACC was able to demonstrate that a young person would have to pay about 24,000 to secure a job. In their government, that corruption has increased from, it was about 29,000. It has increased from 29,000 to about 234,000. An increase, a huge astronomical increase. So even the cost of corruption in their government has increased. So then how do you come here and tell us about stock exchange? You tell us about foreign exchange. And by the way, the USD, the rate of USD to Kenya shillings before Ruto took over, it was ranging between 112 and 118. Now it's 129. Now they came, distorted the market. It went up to 163, then it came down to 129. They said Ruto has worked. Yet, when it came to government, it was much lower than that. These are facts. So don't continue confusing the public. But at the end of the day, what matters is how the common person feels at the end of the day. So that's the discussion we should be having, not about all these big English words.
All right. He says the alternative is difficult to fathom. Macharia, do we have an alternative?
Now, Sam, even as I come to answering that question, I'll just briefly respond to what my sister here said. And indeed, she's my sister because, we're both professional colleagues. We've known each other for decades. Now, you see, I want to still remain factual because the problem with the current government is that I would relate it to what I would call cognitive distortion. They continue perpetuating lies and distortions, even changing narratives to a point whereby I think they start believing it and take it as the truth, because the statistics I was referring to is not history, it is the current. And that is statistics by government agencies, not by myself. And you see, even like, for instance, they keep talking about affordable housing has created hundreds of thousands of jobs, yet Kenya National Bureau of Statistics will tell you the only increase in jobs in the entire construction industry is about 35,000 from what was previously there. Again, real statistics is not anything about Macharia. Because I'm a lawyer, I must speak based on facts, law, and evidence, not really creating my own things. Now, what I'll tell my sister here, there's somebody called Dr. Sandra. And this is a real person. A real person, because this the difference between illusions and the reality. This lady was a doctor in Isiolo Hospital. She was traveling with her husband and somebody else. They rolled in a car accident, and she just had a cut, a simple cut. She had to be taken back to Isiolo Hospital for the stitching. You need oxygen for you to be undertaken a surgery. There was no oxygen. They had to start looking for an ambulance. When an ambulance was found, there was no fuel. By the time they had to take her now to a hospital called Kirua, the Meru side. By the time she reached there, 3 hours later, she has bled, she died. This is a doctor. So when you're talking about SHA working and healthcare working and all those citing statistics, I saw her reading. I think she had already been written for so many things that she's going to recite here.
This I wrote when the presentation was being made yesterday.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that now
when Buddy was making his presentation, I made my own notes.
This is a reality of somebody. About 2 months ago, there was a lady who works in the University of Nairobi. She came to preach in our church. She deals with student welfare. By the time she finished preaching, when you left church, everybody was literally in tears. She said 9 students in our university committed suicide. Why? They are lacking even basic food. They are struggling with the funding model. So half the time they are not even in college. They are living in slums. There's in so many problems. Then